Okay, we're back here with part four, and I've made the moves for turn eight. So I'm just going to talk about a couple of things. We are dropping down everything over here on the feudal reptilian planet so that we can start taxing those guys maximally. Over here at our insectoid, we're sending 300 more um, colonists. In fact, I'm just going to change that a little bit, and I'm going to bring even more. Go with 150 and 50. So we're going to have 100 supplies there, but we're bringing over a whole bunch of clans in order to start maximizing the taxing that we can get there, because we've got to get some money going. We had a bit of an error. We made a mistake. So because I was moving along so quickly, I forgot to turn Beam Up Duranium off on my large deep space freighter. So he got stuck running out of fuel on his way over to Mao 2. So that was unfortunate, but it's not going to set us back. We're just going to keep playing through it and live with that consequence. Obviously, it's not ideal, but that's what happens in just about every game. So I'm going to have the Sagittarius that I just built pop over there and bring him some fuel. And we're going to load some clans on board, of course. Since I have the Sagittarius open, I'm going to do something a little bit funny this turn. We are building, again, just a medium deep. And on the other planet, I'm just going to go to not idle here. On the other planet, I'm going to build a Falcon. So here I've got the medium deep and a Falcon being built. It's not very much power. Just to confuse our enemies a little bit, I'm going to build 10 fighters here. It's not very expensive for me to do that right now, and I have lots of resources available. So that's going to bump up my military score substantially. So it's going to look like I built something else. And make it look to anyone who might be analyzing the score. And believe me, the expert players are analyzing your score every single turn. If they notice that you're beside them, then they're going to know what exactly you built. If you don't do some of these sort of small things to throw off what they might be thinking. So this will give us them the impression that we've built a warship of some sort of medium-sized warship, but not showing exactly what it is. So maybe a Tranquility or something else. So that's going to just give us a little bit of a boost there. Other important things to note, I'm spending everything I can here. I'm moving my Falcon with supplies and mag credits over here. I really want to get that 100 mines built onto this planet so I can start getting even more mining going here. So any opportunity I can get mining happening in any capacity, I want to do that as quickly as possible. I just have my other Falcon here that I just built coming over to this planet. We're just going to start ferrying minerals back and forth across here. It's going to take a few ships to do that, especially with these small cargo holds on the Falcons. But I'm always bringing clans. Even though I don't really need more clans over here right now, I could certainly use some. But I always want to have every ship that's coming outward, moving outward from my home planet, to be carrying as many colonists as possible. Another neat thing, just a little thing to keep focused on here. Here on Fornax, you can see that I'm now getting my second turn of taxing in, so I'm taxing them all the way down to 40 again. So I'm getting another 850 mega credits here. I'm also taxing my colonists down to 70 as well, just to get 50 more. The nice thing about dropping those 100,000 colonists off from my plant home world, everywhere I drop them, suddenly those unhappy colonists I brought in my home world are happy, and I can now get a little bit more out of them. So I can tax them down again and get some more money out of them. So I like to do that, and but I do keep them at 70 because I do want those ones that are out from my home world already to multiply. So I just take it one turn with them and then let them start multiplying. That would be different if it's a cold or a hot planet. Then I'm going to tax them right down. So that said, we're going to carry on to the next turn and see what happens now as we go into turn 9. Hopefully, we're not making any more mistakes. Still made this turn very quickly, but we're going to see how it goes. Oh, just the math on this. I did look. Am I going to have enough on Centuria? I'm getting the 900 clans or 900 mega credits here from Fornax. I'm getting, I've got 3,800 here now, and I'm getting another 375. So about 4,000 a little over 4,000, 4,200, plus that 900 gets me to 5,100. I did decide to pull back the 300 that I was on the insectoid, so it's going to be a little slower there getting developed. I could build the 100 factories next turn, but I'm going to wait and bring that 300 mega credits back, because I'm actually going to be, getting fairly short as I go on, 3 turns from now, trying to build here on Centuria. So I'm going to just pull that 300 back and bring it back with my ship in 3 turns here. So let's go on to the next turn. Again, look, we're very small in the number of planets we have, but we are starting to add them. The big thing that's happening now is that we have a lot more ships than a lot of players would have at this stage. So we already have, let's see, if we look at the scoreboard, we're already up to 14 starships. And if you look at the enemy that we're playing against in this map, who still only has 1 starbase, sure enough, they've been building a planet every turn. They've now got eight ships. Well, that's a pretty huge difference between us and them. We've got almost a double number of ships as they do, and those ships are doing things. They are making things happen, and they're improving our economy. So that's a huge factor that we have to keep in mind as we look to expand. Okay, unfortunately here, we look in the north, we haven't found anything yet. We're finding another amorphous planet. We really need to find a home for those 1,000 colonists. In the meantime, we're kind of missing the opportunity to get this starbase built out here. But we're going to continue with the plan. I'm going to scout another planet. I've got 2 more turns to check out these 2 planets over here and hopefully find what we're looking for. Just any planet that would be a reasonable one. If not, we're going to build at this reptilian here as a worst case scenario kind of thing. My ideal scenario would be here now because it's still connected to this northern area up here. So I might go there first, kind of considering that as the possibility. The only downside is, well, I'm going to look at that and think about what's the best course of action there. Down here in the south, wow, I found a bovinoid, so that's really great. It's a great place for my 1,100 colonists to drop. I can immediately start to build some mines as soon as I drop them. There's not a lot of minerals there, so this is really going to be about money on this planet, and it's going to produce a lot of supplies, so we can use that to do it. Now, as we said, this medium deep, his job now is going to be to bring all this money that I've accumulated here down to my other planet to get this rush factory going. So I'm going to make these moves, and then we'll continue into the next version, or into the next part. Okay, I've given some orders to my ships and planets on turn 9. So I'm just going to highlight a couple of things that kind of come to my attention. We're using the we've been able to build mines here on Frost, so now we've got 100 mines here. So this planet is really activated now. All of a sudden, a lot of minerals coming out here that is going to keep Centuria going, or possibly even supply another starbase, because we've got so many resources coming in this area already. So we might even need to make a second starbase down here just to produce even more rushes. Or we can build some more at our home world, so we're going to be able to think about that. When I think about my homeworld, what I usually like to think about my homeworld for, I know a lot of people use this as their main production facility, but because I'm always raising the engine tech level on my homeworld to tech 10 off the start to get the transwarp drives, I often like to think about raising my torpedo tech level on my homeworld and using this to build good mine laying ships with higher tech level torpedoes and transwarp drives. And then those end up being the tow ships that I'm using to tow the heavy carriers. So I generally am thinking about the heavy carriers being built somewhere else because I don't want to raise the engine tech levels on those other star bases. So right now, if you look at our insectoid planet that we just colonized, we brought more colonists over here. So we're already getting 1,000 mega credits a turn here. And this is good. It's only minus 15. So we should be able to get, and actually we might even go minus 14 here because it's 2 of them. So we can get 950 a turn here. So if we go with this planet, we got quite a few turns of 1,000 a turn. So we're gonna probably use that money. We're getting this money to get our starbase built up down here. We're gonna use this money to try to raise the torpedo tech level on our homeworld so that we can start to build some useful mine layers. As we hit turn 9, we're just starting to get into like the danger zone. If someone, a neighbor of yours, decided to send an immediate attack over, if they're the privateers, you might start to see them showing up around turn 10 or 11. That's a real unfortunate thing, of course, especially if you're the rebels. In which case, then you're really going to need those mine layers, and you're going to have to start to change what you're doing here. But if in most cases, you're going to have a bit more time in order to start getting these rushes built. And even if someone does show up, you kind of need to play on as if they're not there. Let them wreck a couple things, but as long as you're doing what you're doing, your production is going to overwhelm them eventually while they're spending that time kind of trying to disrupt you. Obviously, do your best. Those are the things that run through my mind, and maybe I'm going to get attacked more often now with that kind of knowledge as people look at this stuff. But we will see. This guy, he's bringing 4,500 mega credits back from Delta. So this is the big money that we're focusing on. He's got the money from the amphibians. He's coming back with 4,500. At the same time, we've got another 900 coming from Falcon 15 here. He's heading up through here, pick up some resources, and then stop at Centuria. So 900 and 4,500, that's our 5,400 that we need to build our rush in 2 turns on this planet. And that's really important. We're thinking ahead, 2 turns ahead. Meanwhile, my large deep in the north, we're still seeking out that great starbase planet. We're going to need a planet with money in order to be a good planet for a starbase so that we can make the 900 mega credits that we need. And so this large deep 5, though, he's going to come back here and pick up this stuff, which is going to be the necessary minerals for a starbase. And that's hopefully going to be enough for us to follow up this place and build a starbase, a 3rd starbase in the north fairly soon. So hopefully another 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 turns, we're going to build another starbase up there. This is a little later. I wish we were getting this a little bit sooner. I wish it had been in here and we could get it a turn or 2 earlier, but this is how this map is unfolding. So I'm just going to make sure that I have a little bit of more molybdenum just to make sure that we have enough to guarantee our starbase. Now we have all the resources there that we need. And otherwise, we are also sending our large deep over here to pick up some stuff. And the Sagittarius is going to the south. We have lots of low tech engines down here. So because he's got 2 transwarp drives, we want to get him down here, pair him up with a Falcon, and then they're a pretty good transport between the 2 of them that can travel at warp 9. We're going to need to get down here to this bovinoid quickly because that bovinoid is going to start producing a lot of money, and we're going to want to get that back up. So I'm kind of thinking he's going to take a road 1, 2, 3 down to here. So that's it. Let's look at what turn 10 brings us. We are scouting another planet, and we'll learn a little bit more as we go to turn 10. All right, everybody's on the move again. And this is what I'm looking at up here, thinking about. Wow, reptilian. Again, we're getting really lucky with those reptilians, although there's not a lot of stuff here, but really good fuel supply. So that's definitely worth something. But anarchy is a real disappointment. I won't kid you. It's going to be very difficult to get very much out of that. You can see here that even the feudal, reptilian feudals here, I taxed them down -55 to get 1,000 mega credits, more or less. So that's kind of a one-shot deal with these guys. They basically just made enough money to build their own mines. So not a lot of gain out of these reptilians. We need something that gives a little more positivity, like this insectoid up here is worth quite a lot. And definitely this bovinoid is going to bring a lot of money. It's definitely going to be the source of money that we are hoping to get continuous turns of production out of Centuria. So, but in the meantime, we still haven't found a great northern planet. This is definitely a planet I'm going to drop some stuff on. We want to get that fuel coming out that's useful, and we definitely can get some money out of these guys, probably around 400 or 500 a turn. I might, for one turn, I might have calculated, I would go and actually calculate that to see how many colonists I should drop on that planet to get that net worth out of it. Meanwhile, I'm going to continue to advance and hope to find something better in one of these two planets. So this is where, you know, having a scout would be useful, or if you're one of the races where, like colonies where you can have a bioscan, it can really help to accelerate this stuff, as long as you can get that kind of in flow. So I'm going to go ahead now and make the moves here on turn 10. And again, everything is about trying to, the number one focus is that next turn I want to queue a rush here on Centuria. So I'm hoping to pull that all together by bringing the molybdenum from here with my large deep space freighter, these minerals from Mao with my other large deep space freighter, and I've got the money coming in from these two sources here to bring everything together on turn 11 on Centuria to build our first rush, which will arrive on turn 12. So I'm going to end this part of the series here, and we'll look to build our first rush on the next video. Thanks for watching.